Welcome to the Pink Lady Posse podcast, women who refuse to disappear. You are either creating your life or living one you inherited. Friction management. It matters because breakthrough is your way out of drift. See the drag? Return to say, let's go. I am Sandy Parker Martinez, and I'm here with someone that I love and respect, Amy Bell. Welcome, Amy. Amy, welcome.
Thank you, Sandy.
Amy is a marketing muse, and I've known her for several years and watched her path. And I said, why should I even give you a title? You can do anything you want. And she really can. But I know her to be an incredible magazine publisher and a book publisher. She published a book of one of my friends, and we have pink in common. So I would like for you to tell me first why the custom magazines and how do people use it, and why do you do that?
Oh, that's a great question. Why the heck do I do that? I started my career at my dad's newspaper when I was 19 years old. It was a
Mm,
community newspaper, and my dad's a sales guy, and so he put me in the sales department, in the in the classified sales department. And he was just so proud, oh, a little chip off the old block is at my company. And he really loved that I was working there. And I really loved working there too. But what I really loved was the paste up room. That's a term from a very long time ago, where you used to use pieces of paper like the size of a newspaper, and you would run things through a wax machine, and the wax would be goopy and it would stick on the board. And that's how we created newspapers. We would print the articles out and then have to piece them together like a puzzle. And it was a true art form. Not that I was um detail oriented. Let's just say that wasn't my thing. But I loved the energy of the deadline day, of being in the back room with all the people that are hustling and bustling, and the stress of getting it to the press on time, and will it get out the next day? Because we had a community that was counting on us to make sure we got that newspaper out. So it was so exciting. And then we would go out to the bar afterwards and we'd have some fun, and we would all de-stress, right? So that was my introduction. And right at the time that I had that, my dad had hired a guy who one day just showed up, and he had this little computer. I didn't even know really what it was. I didn't know what a computer was at that time because we did everything by hand. And he had a drafting board, and he was printing stuff out of this thing, and then he would use a knife and he would cut and paste it onto the thing and do mock-ups for our advertisers. So I begged this guy. I'm like, please, can I just sit down and watch you? Can I play with this thing? And he's like, your dad spent way too much money for me to let you mess around with this machine. So no, no, no. And the reason why I was so intrigued is because through high school, I loved art, but I hated the art that they made me do, and I was really bad at it. And so what happened was the Macintosh, as it was, that was in this guy was using, became my paintbrush. And I finally felt like I can do what I really want to do. And I don't need to be able to draw a stick person to do it. I actually now have this tool that can help me be creative. And so that's sort of the start of it. And from there, so I have a knowledge of sales in print production. I have a knowledge of the actual, the history of paste up and design. I've been to school for it. I fancied myself a bit of a writer. I like to write, so I enhanced that over my last 30 years. My design improved. I worked for a publishing company called Canada Law Book, um, where I was the manager of the art department there. So it's like the custom magazines are a culmination of my entire 30 years of experience in writing, in designing, in talking to people, in sales, in understanding, creating a narrative for your business so that you can go to the next level. So that's kind
Well,
of like my 30 years.
yeah, and let me just say that your art isn't beautiful, it's magnificent.
Thank
Right?
you.
There's some people that their art is beautiful and the flowers are not, right? I mean, there's painting, but graphic arts. Now, I don't even know if you know this, but I used to work for Vogue magazine and Southern Living magazine. I know. And I was in the marketing department, but I also used to paste up a newspaper. And when you were
Oh,
running that through the waxer and then cutting it and pasting it, so the whole feeling of birthing something,
yeah.
it's
Love it.
really in it.
Yeah.
Now, here's where I got, what would I say? Picky or critical. Now I do not work for Southern Living magazine anymore, but if it doesn't look like Southern Living or it doesn't look like Vogue, it just feels like not quite ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I do have like a certain way that I like to do things, which is sort of hindering me from expansion because I have to rely on somebody else as my next step to grow. Like right now it's me and
right.
I'm juggling all of the balls and all of the things. And I recognize that my next step of growth is to bring in someone. So I do have a designer now, an additional designer that I trust and love. And I'm also putting out ads. I put an ad on LinkedIn just recently for a an associate, a commissioned associate salesperson, something like that, because I recognize that my talent is in the design and speaking to people and drawing out their story and then creating the narrative and the arc to that, like tying it all up in a nice little bow, right? So when you say I'm a marketing muse, or when I said that's kind of what I do, I just come up with like I hear someone and then the ideas start to come, and I'm just like verbal diarrhea with all different things that are coming up. And I think that's because I've spent a lot of time in different niche markets, right? Like I've been in publishing and I've been in retail and I've been in newspapers and then magazines and then I worked for a boutique ad agency, which is a whole different animal than the
Uh,
publishing world,
right.
right? So um, I think it's really it allows me to have a bit of a well-rounded experience with people, and then they'll tell me their story and I'm like, oh, you could do this or you could do that or you could do this, and next thing you know, I've just handed them like $1 million idea. If they follow through with it, I would be so happy, like go take it.
Well, let me just draw a parallel into what I'm experiencing because I'm working with my new friction framework. And as I'm working with people, it's in the conversation of what they're saying. Like, I could give them a form to fill out, but it's the power of my listening.
Mm-hmm.
It's the power of your listening that brings that into the space, right? Without sounding so woo. It's just like, oh, and the other thing right now, AI is making everything look so the same.
Yeah.
How do you how do you be yourself in a same kind of market? If I came to you as a fresh connection and I said, Amy, here's a magazine about me and the work I do, and it looked like $1 million. That's a way to stand out.
Yes, exactly.
I
So
mean,
the thing is, like, I believe in the power of print publishing still. And the reason I say custom magazines is because I'm not about, mass printing thousands and putting them everywhere. I'm using, well, I'm supporting my clients so that they're using this as a marketing piece. And they're giving it to clients that are sort of warm in their list, or it's like, here's something about me before you meet me. Now, books, which I do love, are a huge commitment. Sandy, if you handed me your book and it's 150 pages, you just handed me a job. I got to read that book. And I got to read it before the next time I see you so that you go, Amy, did you read my book? And I have to say, yeah, I read your book. But like, that's a weekend job for me, like I'm committing time. So Um, the magazine, when you hand someone that, it's a much easier piece to digest. I can read an article here, I can read an article there, I can look at a checklist, I can get some info from it without committing my weekend of precious time to read your book and then give you, my summary and two thumbs up for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
have to tell you this also. I used to be the president of the Magazine Publishers Association in Dallas
Okay.
because I love print. I
Yeah.
love magazines. And when they are slick and sassy and
Yeah.
glossy and you've got them in your hand, I'm not so much a book person. Like I like the pictures. I
Yeah.
like the way the graphics look. So I think it's the most unique. And you had no idea that we have this connection, I'm sure. And
Well, I think when we first met, you talked about it, and then we have had such a journey since then that I completely forgot. So I'm glad you brought it back up because I think this is even a cooler reconnection.
yeah, so I want to go back to when we met. And I had married Steve. You know, I was a widow. I'd married Steve. I had my hip replaced, my knee replacements, had, I don't know, 8 months set aside to heal. And I'm sitting in this little room with my computer. And I thought, you know what? I am feeling good. I'm feeling kind of done. I'm ready to do something. And I thought I'd been looking at these pink lady drawings that I found on, I think, Etsy probably. And I thought, man, I wish I could make those. And the lady said, well, don't make your own, just buy mine. And I said, no, that's a much better idea. And soon after that, I took a class with you about what's my CEO soul color. And you said, your color's pink. I'm like, it's
Mhm.
not pink, it's red. And you go, well, what about red with a little enlightenment? I mean, you did just get married, your wedding dress was pink. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then I just took the pink ladies, the pink, and I went online and I got pinkladyposse.com because I believe every woman needs a posse. And
Mhm.
then it was available on everything, Facebook, Insta, everywhere it was available. So I just started and I said, you know what? I'm going to gather me up some women and we're going to have us a Pink Lady posse. And that was like March of a year and a half ago. And now we have 500 members, and then we're a sister group with another one with 1,200 members. And then I did my TEDx talk in November. I got home and looked back at that talk, and my framework was in that talk, unbeknownst to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, there are external complications in life. Those are curves. There
Yeah.
are internal wobbles that we, in ways we react to that. And then there's grinders. And I said to you a minute ago, which it does not look like me now, right? I said, at the time I felt like I'd gone backstage in a life I used to star in. And that really sucks. You know, when you used to feel like somebody and now you're sort of
Yeah.
worn down and not being your best self. Well, I wanted to take the Pink Lady Posse to be my why and friction management to be my how.
Mhm.
So it's become this nice little collection of helping women, which we're still all about helping women. But
Yeah.
what you don't know, and I don't mean like you don't know this, what I don't know and what we all don't know is how powerful we are to another human being the moment we think we're just having a casual conversation.
Mhm.
You were still a pivot point on time, perfect encouragement. I mean, we just did a class. You would have no idea, right? And I got my notes. So I was launched into pink. And it was such a beautiful experience. And so not everybody has those conversations. So it continues to be meaningful to me. And you will always be meaningful to me because you were there at the right time. And I know that you now care about, I don't want to say care about money, but you probably do care about money.
Very
And
much.
but before we jump into money, just tell me what pink means. Because you were saying pink means
Oh,
love or something.
Okay, so you had mentioned that we had talked about your CEO color. So I just want to give people an idea of what that means
Okay.
because nobody really knows. Okay, so I am a designer, I am a publisher, I am a writer, I am all of these things, but there's also this thing behind me that I feel is my sort of magic power. And back in 2017, I started to study the psychology of color through a company called, or through an organization called Color Mirrors. And so there's numerology in this system, there is color psychology, there's astrology, there's numerology, I think if I said that. Um, and and it's all about how color has positive and healing aspects to it. And so I really got into that because, of course, as a designer, I love color. And the fact that there's like a psychology behind it, I kind of knew, but I didn't. And like marketing is always talking about, the psychology of color because they're doing it in their marketing to draw people in. So I learned about numerology and the connection to color. So numerology is the study of numbers. I use it for for people's birthdays. So in order to find out that you were pink, I would have had to say, "Hey Sandy, what's your birthday?" And
Right.
as soon as I say, "Hey, what's your birthday?" If you're ever talking to me, people, we're going down a deep hole and we're not coming out for like an hour. So I said, "Hey Sandy, what's your birthday?" And then that was where the deep dive went, and we discovered that numerologically it adds up to a number when you add up all the digits of your birthday, and then that number is connected to a colored bottle in our system, and then that bottle will tell a story. And so I'm assuming if you said that I don't know what your birthday is and I can't do math right now anyway, but if you said I said you were pink, then you're a sixth life path. And so the sixth life path is about being pink, and pink is a unconditional self-love. Um, it's uh, it's the red root chakra color, but like you said, it's enlightened, intensified with light, and so that makes the pink color, which actually kind of speaks to the root chakra. If you know anything about the chakra system, the root chakra is about survival on this planet, passion, ambition, anger. And when you take pink, when you enlighten that, add white to it, add white light to it, you actually intensify those feelings. So, as a pink life path, your life path is sort of intensified around money. When you were younger, it could have meant you were quick to anger. When, there could be some questions about how you love yourself or the fact that maybe you don't even love yourself. So the pink life path is one of a self-love journey. And and so the fact that you've created this Pink Lady posse and all of it is about supporting one another, showing each other the light in one another, showing each other that we love you, and loving yourself is a survival piece that you
Right.
need in your life, right? And then the fact that it's all pink, like you're sending out the message of pink via your glasses, the stuff that's behind you, the marketing material that you're creating. You're sending out that pink energy that says, "Come, listen to me, and I will show you what love is." And that is how the pink is perceived. So there's certain, yes, colors, you can wear them and they will affect the person that you are speaking to. They'll react to the color that you're wearing energetically. And also your marketing pieces will energetically attract or repel potential clients. So,
Well, I appreciate that because I think I just said that, but what I'm finding now is people don't need more information. Well, I mean, we
mhm,
can Google it. We can
yeah.
chat GTP it. We can do whatever. But but people still need love and they still need connection. Like we were talking about a wobble I had yesterday, and you said, "Oh, I had a wobble," and my friend, just sort of tell me what you were saying about having a best friend or having someone that you trust that you can just share yourself with and the power of that.
Oh, well,
I
my
know.
best friend, we met when we were 15. We worked at McDonald's together, and she was working in the kitchen and I was working in the drive-through, and I happened to just go back to grab something, and I'm like, "Hey, you want to hang out?" Like, which was kind of weird back then. You know, you didn't really, everybody
Say
had
that.
their friends, right? Like they already had their friends from high school and they already had their friends from public school and like grade school. And so to go up and just kind of say, "Hey, want to be my friend? Like, you want to go out tonight?" It was kind of weird. But anyway, she said yes. And then we were completely inseparable from that day moving forward. It was um, like I had found a long lost sister. And so she had brothers and I had a brother. And so neither of us had a sister. And so we were kind of craving that connection, right? Um, but yeah, I had a wobble last September. And, of course, I call her and she talks me off the ledge. And I was thinking, like, how great is it that I've got this woman to bounce ideas off of and who loves me no matter what and doesn't judge me. And if she does judge me, she's pretty clear about it. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you can't do that, like just the raw honesty of someone who's known you since you were 15. And we've been through like divorces and deaths and marriages and all the things that all best friends have been through, right? So the importance of that is I can't even put a word to it.
Well, here's what makes me think of um, anyone listening to this podcast. If you don't have that, go find it. Because as much as I'd love for us to go, hey, do you want to hang out? And the first person you ask says yes or no, it's really our responsibility to care for ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so easy to not go to that luncheon, to not go to that thing, but it is survival to have that kind of
This is,
compassion.
yeah, for sure. I think I've read some stories and some articles about friendship, and this is why women live longer than men.
Quick question. Have you noticed how easy it is to drift through this season of life? Not unhappy, just slightly checked out. Yeah, that. At Think Pink, we don't fix women, we help them come alive again. Honest conversation, easy occasions for discovery, no duct taping a smile over burnout, no reinvent your entire life by Tuesday. Just people who care and gentle nudges that help you feel like yourself again. I mean, the truth is, you can't be your best self by yourself. If that sentence made something in you nod, we made a free Think Pink starter gift just for you. Come take a look. No fixing, just connection. Go to pinkladyposse.com and click on Think Pink. Stay awake to your own life and not alone.
And this is why women live longer than men, because we do put ourselves out there. We are open to being vulnerable and saying, "Want to be my friend?" Like, I'm at home, I'm alone, I don't have someone. Like, my mom is by herself. Um, like, she had a partner and now doesn't anymore, right? So
Right.
she has friends that she goes out with a lot. She's very busy and she does a lot. But I was shocked when I hear her speak, because she's like, "Oh, I've got to call my friend and let her know, I'm home okay." And so they've got this system in place for single ladies, like her friends, and they're like, "We're going to call and we're going to let each other know." Because if they didn't have that, like, maybe nobody would know she ever got home, or like,
Exactly.
I wasn't speaking to my mom every single day, but she had best friends that she was seeing 3 or 4 times a week. So she would, they would stay in touch with one another and check on each other and spend holidays together if they couldn't be with family and stuff like that. So, um, but some people don't have that kind of friendship. And my best friend's daughter is one of those people. Like, she's like, I'm never going to find an Amy. And so, because she had Kim and I as an example of what best friends look like, her
Mhm.
standards of best friendom are pretty high.
Right.
So, and she's a little upset that she doesn't have that. She does have friends, but she doesn't have one that she could say, "That's my Amy." to like that her mom has, right? So I wouldn't be too hard on myself. I would just allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to approach someone if you're at a club, or if you're, playing pickleball, or if you're, at the senior center, or you're at the mall, or you see someone sitting by themselves. Like, just be fearless and just go up and say, hey, like, are you looking to have a chat with someone? Are you, what do you think?
Well, and I don't want to ever be harsh, but isolation has the same impact on your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. If you're
Wow.
isolated, you're going to be ground down over time. And that
Yeah,
leads terribly to bad health and bad situations. So, what I'm saying is the Pink Lady Posse exists. So, those who need a connection point have it. And
exactly. Oh, yes, absolutely.
we also have this sort of what do we call it? The syndrome where we feel like we're somebody we're not. What's that called?
Imposter.
The imposter syndrome. Well, when I said I felt like I gone backstage, you said you do not look like that. Well, the way I look on the outside and the way I feel on the inside can be vastly different. And people
Yeah,
don't want to go, hey, I want to connect. But
yeah.
I just moved to a town of 800 people in the middle of nowhere that has one donut shop and a gas station. And
Yikes.
so I am literally having to take initiative to make a new friend. And I just turned 70. Do I really want to start over with friends? I mean, I got my friends all over the world, thank God for Zoom, right? But I went to one woman and I said, "Hey, I'm new." And she goes, "Well, I'm new too, and I don't know anybody." And I said, "Well, I'm newer than you, so you can be my friend."
Yeah,
Right? I mean, so we're all just looking at our place in our life. I just want to say, find connections where you know you're meaningful. So when you have a wobble or you need connection, it's there and you took the responsibility to care for yourself.
yeah, yeah.
Because I
Well,
think,
this is all leading into this project that I've got this year about honoring a friendship that's lasted since you were 14 years old, or one that you've just met. Like, what friendship is all about. And then in that exploration is a way to raise money for a women's shelter that's in our area. Um, and when I say that it's the women's shelters in our area, I must clarify myself, because a lot of women's shelters work together, whether they're in California and New York. Some of the situations that women are in, and they could be required to completely move away. And so, even though you're not living in the area where this women's shelter is, or maybe even in the country of where the women's shelter is, it is, potential that someone in Texas could have family up here and they need the services of a women's shelter in Canada, or vice versa, or,
right.
even just laterally across the country. So
Mhm.
a lot of people like to put their tithing dollars where they live. And then there's certain projects that come up where the money may be going to one certain place, but it is impacting North America as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And, this book that I'm creating is a collaboration book of best friends or friendships writing to one another. So there's a couple different ways you can participate, but one is like, let's say you and I are best friends and we say, let's go in this book together, and we write letters of love to one another. What have you done for me, Sandy? How much do I appreciate you? How much do I love you? And I want to put that in print, create the legacy piece, and live together with you in this book forevermore as best friends, right? And that was my initial goal. And then the second part to that was, perhaps someone doesn't have a best friend that's able to participate, because there is a donation that is necessary to make this work. So each woman is paying $300 to be in the book with their best friend. So each woman is paying $300, and combined, the book is going to raise $45,000 for Halton Women's Place in a 150-page book, which I think is is really
Amazing.
great. I think it's a really amazing thing. And a lot of ladies don't have that kind of cash at the moment. So I've asked Halton Women's Place to put on a special button to do a payment, like so collectively $20 at a time from now until the end of September, they can still participate. And I'm willing to put them in with the pledge that they will make to do that, right? So now best friends can go in. If you have a friend who isn't able to join, but you still want to acknowledge her and thank her, then you can write a letter to her on your own. And then there's another option that you have lived some life, like you got some uh, stories to tell. And that might, in fact, be very supportive to a woman who's going into a women's shelter just to hear your story. Like, not to focus and dwell on like all of the badness that happened, but like, here's my story, brief little outline, and here's what happened since. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I'm supporting you behind the scenes, and you don't even know I'm here, but I
Yeah,
hear you and I see you, right? So, not chicken soup for the soul ish, maybe ish, but I'm not charging any money to create this project. I'm not charging to design it. I'm not charging to organize it or publish it. I'm just the conduit to get donations for this women's shelter. And then the goal would be participants wherever they are will put it up on Amazon with no markup, so that if you would like to buy additional copies and take it to your own person, like your women's shelter in your area, the woman's story is a woman's story. It doesn't matter if I live in the US or if I live in Canada or I live in Africa or wherever. Our hearts are all combined. So I think,
absolutely. So
yeah.
what's your timeline on the book?
It's the launch of the book is going to be November 14th at our Wallet to Wealth Gala.
Cool.
The it's it's just the vehicle we're using to launch the book. I mean, the gala is the gala. If you want to go, there's tickets available. The book is something separate, but because I'm involved with that group, we're choosing to use that venue and that event to launch it. So, I mean, it would be ultimately really amazing if, all the ladies in the book joined us at the gala, but um, that may not be possible for geographic reasons. The other thing that I wanted to mention is someone said, I'm not comfortable writing in English. Does it
Mhm.
have to be English? And I was like, well, as a matter of fact, it doesn't need to be English. You can write in whatever language you want to write in. If you're speaking your heart to your best friend and you're both Spanish, why not? Like, there is nowhere that says everyone who enters a women's shelter in North America is English speaking only. Like, we can't, right? Like, all kinds of women are going into these shelters. All kinds of women are going to be reading this book. So I'm totally fine if somebody wants to write to their best friend or to a woman who's going through some trying times in their own language, whatever that might be. I just can't proof it. So it'll go into the magazine as is. I don't want to change anybody's language or assume I know German or Russian or whatever, like whatever it is, it's going in like that. So
So do you
my
have
goal,
space for women? You still have space for more women to
oh yes,
participate?
yes, I do. I have about um 35 women at the moment, singly on their own and best friend combos. And I want to get 150 women in the book.
Great.
So I still have like 120 spots left.
Okay,
And
good.
then the deadline, the deadline is the end is like September of this year.
Great. So
Mhm.
I see you, and I see you like putting your heart and soul ahead to the impact you want to make. That's the point, right? Is
Yeah.
that you're a witness that a woman can have her skills and decide this matters to me and I'm on it. And if you don't know how to do that, Pink Lady Posse is a great place to connect because we kind of
Yeah.
all kinds of we have 1,000 women in here that can help you. But I see the vividity. Well, I wonder if that's a word. I see the
There you
vivid
go.
impact it's having on your sense of well-being and your sense of making a difference.
Yes, I believe that I've got talents and I'd like to use them for the greater good. I mean, yes, I love helping entrepreneurs take the next level up. I love hearing their stories, but I also want to do a little bit more. And I also want to share this idea of this particular book example to raise money. Like you could use it in your community. You could use it in the Pink Lady Posse. You could have the Pink Lady Posse book that raises money for a charity that means something for you. And you happen to have the design skills to be able to put it together, right? If they don't, then they can find a designer and perhaps they would be they give them a charity rate, or they might feel so connected to the story, they might do it for you. Like you never know. It is a big job. It is like, I got to chase people to get in the book, and I got to chase people to pay, and I got to, chase people down for their stories and their photos and all of that. But like this has become, it'll be, I'm going to put it out there that it's not going to be a chase scene, that people will just, all in due time, it'll happen, it'll unfold as it should. But whatever the donation entry is to get into something like this, whether it's a magazine or a full-on book, do the math. I'm doing a 150-page book and I'm raising $45,000. You can do that. Anybody who's listening can organize it, and you find the people to make it happen. You just need to find a printer that's willing to, that'll do it for a charitable rate. And then you find the people to help organize it, and you bring people into the fold. And then next thing you know, it could be for your church, it could be for a children's group, it could be raising money to send kids to band camp, like whatever, let's
Well,
use different ideas to raise money. And it doesn't always have to be just give me your $300. It can be for something like a project that lives on forever.
well, and one thing I know to be true about you, because you're a marketing muse, that when you get in conversations, you have these floral expressions of possibility, right? Like I know you've given away so many ideas that I go, watch her go, man. And I don't think you know it, but I'm writing a book.
Oh,
I
good for
know.
you.
We haven't talked, yeah, about the friction format, but really about what I want women to have a wake up call. It's called, ready for this title? Peace is more expensive than lobster. A wake up call with lipstick. Because it's based on a story where I'm out to dinner with my husband, and there's this lobster I really want, and it's market price. And I literally spend time arguing with myself internally over my value. Should I get it? Is it too expensive? What I've been told, my inherited messages around being, and I just got all in the rabbit hole. And then I realized all I want is peace. And it seems harder to come by than the lobster. And so it's just one story. And the book is written and it's to an editor already, and it'll come back. And then, but it's my life message that nothing is wrong with you.
Yeah.
It's not you. You're fine. You're not broken. It's not you. It might be friction, but it's not you. And that shameless way of living, which I so am for. But I did have a wobble yesterday, man. I took myself right down the hole to woo hoo hoo. And I reached out to a friend and I'm like, it was a PR lady about what I need to have to be a speaker. She doesn't know I've been speaking all over the place, but the way she said, oh, she went, oh, like there was this big, I'm not enough. I'm not enough in like a microsecond. And it
Yeah.
happened so fast. And then I got off the Zoom and I went, man, what a wobble. And then when I can see it, I don't have to be trapped by it. I can say, look, there's a bit of distance between a speaker sheet and where you are. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything about you. But that's the learning, is that we see things and make it mean something about us. And that's really, yeah, this is your big shot, Miss Amy Bell. To say, to wrap up this conversation, first of all, thank you for being here. I love you to pieces. You're so pivotal in this little journey I'm on. And I'm very grateful for you in that. But I want to know, if one woman is listening, what your Amy message is to her. And you go, listen up, sister, and say something. What would you say?
Oh, you know what, Sandy? You mentioned imposter syndrome before, and I just don't think of myself as a wise old owl that has any words that are worth anything for someone who's going through something at the moment. Like, we all have our own journey, and I never know what I say that's going to impact someone. I didn't know in the time we had that conversation that I would have an impact on you and vice versa, right? So I think my listen up, sister, is it's just be careful what you say to people. Be kind to people because you never know what's going to stick. I always think about teachers. Like my teacher in high school did not like my style of art. And so she made comments to me, and my grades reflected the fact that I just wasn't her cup of tea. And that lasted for so long. That impacted whether or not I was going to be what I am today. And I just said, F this. You know, the Mac came out when I needed it to, and I'm going to do it this way, and it's going to look different. But I didn't allow that messaging to stick in my brain and stop me. It stuck in my brain, but it didn't stop me. So I'm just asking people to be mindful of their words because it has energy. As we're speaking right now, like when you put your hand in front of your face, you can feel the energy, the movement of air. And so you just have to move that air positively when you're
Well, that's a
speaking
heck of
your
a
impact.
hello, sister moment. Hey, thank you so much for being with me. And I will tell you more about my book later, but I can't wait to hear it. I might even want to be in that book you're publishing.
Woo, that would be lovely.
I don't know. Okay. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thanks for tuning in to Pink Lady Posse Podcast, where women go from what now to what's next. Come join us at pinkladyposse.com, where we share community, resources, and tools to support your next beautiful chapter. With love, light, and a little lipstick. See you next time.